Hello and welcome to the Fossil Huntress podcast. I hope you guys are all doing well. Today on the show, I thought we would fly down to the southern tip of South America, to Argentina, to talk about and explore the life of José Fernando Bonaparte, one of the most precious and special of all the Argentinian paleontologists. So I hope you know his name, and you certainly will after this episode, but you definitely know his work. So he had a lifelong love of paleontology, and he had a particular fondness for fossil mammals. But he is best known for the famous dinosaurs of Argentina. So beautiful specimens like Carnotaurus, who we've talked about in a previous episode, the bull dinosaur, but Amargasaurus, Abelisaurus, Argentinosaurus, and Noasaurus are all finds that we can credit to him or as part of a team that he led and participated in. So he has a beautiful body of work, and he lived a long time and in our lifetime. So he was born in 1928, but only passed away this last year, February. So I thought we would go to his birthplace and learn a little bit more about the master of the Mesozoic. The oldest rocks in Argentina date back to the Precambrian. And as we move forward in time to the Paleozoic, about 541 to 251 million years ago, the rock that would become Argentina was part of Western Gondwana. So it was sitting in that part of the world where the current African and South American cratons join today. And then further along in time to the Mesozoic, so 251 to 66 million years ago, basins began to form in what would become the Andean foothills. We start seeing some strike-slip movement and some continental extensions. And this is the time that Gondwana begins to break up. So we see narrow half-grabens forming at the edge of the Gastre Fault system. The Magallanes Basin has some rifting, and we see an acceleration of the breakup of Gondwana from about 180 to about 165 million years ago. And that's the time when the Weddell Sea opens up. And as we're seeing sedimentation, that those beautiful fossils and the dinosaurs, the terrestrial animals that were living during that time, many of whom became fossils, that was the time period that José Bonaparte was working in present-day Argentina. So he was discovering and uncovering these beautiful dinosaurs who lived and died back in the Mesozoic. So interestingly, and to put that formation of Argentina into a global context, the supercontinent of Pangaea split, as you know, into Laurentia in the north and Gondwana in the south during the Jurassic. And during the Cretaceous, South America pulled away from the rest of Gondwana. So this division caused a divergence between the northern biota and the southern biota. So the southern animals appear strange to those who know the more northernly fauna. And it was Bonaparte who really recognized, and his finds really illustrate this divergence. So it was this insight that caused paleontologist Robert Bakker to dub him the master of the Mesozoic. So the find that gave Bonaparte that insight into what was happening in the north and the south with the species came from his work in Estancia and Brete. So in the mid to late 70s, so 1975 to 1977, Bonaparte was working on a Saltasaurus dinosaur excavation with Martín and Juan Leal. And it was this find that they published in 1977 that gave him his first insights into what was happening with the species. So later, he was working with Jamie Powell, another Argentinian paleontologist, and looking at the armored plates, those osteoderms that are embedded in the skin of a Saltasaurus, and comparing them to other Lambeosaurine species. And so he was looking at South America and looking at these species and looking at the differences between them. And that led him to hypothesize that there had been a large-scale migration of species in between the Americas and South America at the end of the Mesozoic. And he was entirely right. So Jose left us with some wonderful finds and some iconic Argentinian dinosaurs, some of the first Mesozoic South American mammals. He mentored many of the paleontologists still working in South America today, so he leaves a wonderful legacy. And his legacy builds on the work of Ostrom, who was a paleontologist in the 1970s that he had the honor to work with. So I will leave it with you there, and thank you for sharing Jose Bonaparte with me, and I'll talk to you guys all again soon. Thanks for listening.